Hello, welcome to the channel. My name is JonHut, and today I want to share with you 5 common mistakes that can ruin your mix. So let's get started with this tutorial. Let's have a look to the mistake number 1, adding too many elements to your track. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that your track have to be simple, but sometimes simplicity is the key. Another example, it can be layers. So let's imagine that you have a good foundation of your track and you want to work a little bit on your melody. So instead of adding layers without reason, first think about what your main sound needs. Let's imagine that your melody is on mono, so you can add a background layer with the sound being wider, which is gonna complement perfectly your main sound. You can also try to add a layer with an octave up or down, again to complement your main sound. Another example, it can be with the drums. So if your track is really melodic and have a lot of rhythm coming from the music elements, then it's better to keep your drums simple. And the opposite, if your track is a little bit more simple in terms of music elements, like you have a good chord progression, bass, then you can play a little bit more with the drums to add more rhythm. But one more time, if you start adding layers without a reason, then probably you are gonna mess up your track. Now let's have a look to the mistake number 2. Overusing reverb. Now, normally the reverb are white, so if you start to add reverb to all of your sounds, then probably your track is gonna sound muddy and you can also kill the dynamic of your track. So the way how I recommend you to use reverb is by creating 3 different scents. One for the drums, another for music elements, and another with a long decay for effects. You can of course use reverb as an insert, but more in a way of a sound design for a specific sound. But one more time, if you start to add a lot of reverb to your sounds as an insert, you can definitely mess up your mix. Now let's have a look to the mistake number 3, employing too much processing. Basically, if you see that you have to apply a lot of processing to a sound, then probably it's better that you change the sample or the preset, as you can definitely mess up the foundation of the sound. You can easily kill the dynamic and also mess up the stereo field. And again, of course, you can apply a lot of effects to a specific sound in terms of sound design, but just if you exactly know what you are doing, which means that if you are on a beginner stage of a music production and you don't know how to use properly a compressor, EQ, and modulation effects, then it's better to keep simple the effects that you apply to your sounds. Now let's have a look to the mistake number 4, mixing in solo. Now, of course, sometimes you have to mix in solo in order to find a problematic resonance, also to fine-tune using a compressor, etc. But try to don't spend too much time mixing in solo and a specific sound. And definitely at the time to find the space of your sound into the mix, don't do it in solo. And last, let's have a look to the mistake number 5, low frequencies. Now, in order to have a good mix, it's really important to have a good balance across your spectrum, low, mid, and high frequencies. But normally, the beginner or veteran producers are struggling a lot with the low frequencies. And the reason for that is because probably they don't have a good pair of monitors, probably they don't treat the room correctly, etc. So, in my opinion, the best way to achieve a good low end on your tracks is by using headphones and also using reference track, which can help you to set up correctly your levels of the kick and the bass and also the low frequencies of the whole track. And as a bonus tip, I think it's worth mentioning that it's really important to analyze your sound in order to avoid more mixing mistakes. If you want to know how to analyze your sounds, then I'm gonna leave a link of the video on the description below. So these are the 5 common mistakes that can ruin your mix. If you want to know 10 tips for a music production that I wish I knew when I start, then I'm gonna leave the link of the video on the description below. So that's all for me. Hope you like and learn something from this video. If you have any question, please leave a comment below. Thank you very much for watching. My name is JonHut.